folks, it's Jeff here. Just a quick reminder, if you're loving Disney Coast to Coast, there are a couple of easy ways that you can support the show. We'd love it if you could rate and review us on iTunes, or wherever you listen to the show. This is a simple way to help other Disney fans find us. Also, go ahead and share your favorite episodes on social media and be sure to tag us. You can find all of our social media information at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. And finally, I just want to say thank you to all of you who listen every week. Your support is very appreciated, and we love that you're enjoying our Disney geekiness. Now on with the show.
Do you dream of fairies and princesses? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, we get some more details about the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Edna Mode is heading to the parks, and a Hocus-Pocus event you won't want to miss. That and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
A new event called Disney Loves Jazz Soiree of Jazz is headed to the Walt Disney Studios Park at the Disneyland Paris Resort on September 29th. This event will feature the exclusive Jazz Loves Disney in Concert, which is inspired by the Jazz Loves Disney albums, plus jazz musicians throughout the park, special Disney character meet and greets, and some rides remaining open. The large concerts will take place in their Lights Motors Action stage, which is a pretty large space. Some of the musicians taking part in this event include China Moses, Hugh Coltman, Robin McKell, and Miles Sanko. So if you're a jazz fan and you're thinking of heading to Disneyland Paris, you might want to look into a September vacation. Also happening over at Disneyland Paris, it's been announced that the 4D experience Mickey's PhilharMagic will be opening at the Discoveryland Theater in October of 2018. Now, Mickey's PhilharMagic originally opened at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom in 2003, followed by Hong Kong Disneyland in 2005 and Tokyo Disneyland in 2011. This is a little surprising to me just because the last time that I experienced it at Walt Disney World, it felt a little bit outdated. Maybe they'll be making some updates for Paris's version, but somehow I doubt it. Also happening overseas, we have an opening date for the Mandarin production of the Broadway musical Disney's Beauty and the Beast. This production will open on June 14th at the Walt Disney Grand Theater, which is part of Disneytown at the Shanghai Disney Resort. As you may or may not remember, this theater first opened with the production of The Lion King not too long ago. I'm actually quite surprised that The Lion King had such a short run. I'm really not sure if it was their plan to have limited runs like this in the theater or not, but it does seem a bit strange considering that The Lion King has run on Broadway now for over 20 years. The original Beauty and the Beast Broadway creative team is currently working on this production in Shanghai. This show still remains one of my favorite Disney stage productions, so if you get a chance to see it, I highly suggest it. There are some spectacular songs in this musical that are not heard in either of the movies. I'm still hoping for the day when we get a Broadway-style theater like this in Disney Springs. Now heading over to Disneyland, as part of the Disneyland app, you can now order your food in advance using the mobile ordering service. This feature launched a while back at Walt Disney World, but this is the first time we're seeing it at the Disneyland Resort. In Disneyland Park, you can use it at Bengal Barbecue, Galactic Grill, Gibbs & Girl Ice Cream Parlor, Hungry Bear Restaurant, Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe, and Red Rose Tavern, so now you can pre-order your Beast's Burger and Peanut Butter and Jelly Eclair. Over at Disney California Adventure, you can use it at Award Wieners, Clarabelle's Hand-Scooped Ice Cream, Cochina Cucamonga Mexican Grill, Corn Dog Castle, Flo's V8 Cafe, Lucky Fortune Cookery, Pacific Wharf Cafe, Paradise Garden Grill, and Smoke Jumpers Grill. So as you can see, there are quite a few options if you're looking for an even faster bite to eat on the way to your next attraction. Annual pass holder discounts do apply, and they have allergy menus available as well through the app. Now headed to both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, Edna Mode, the very famous character from the Incredibles films, will begin doing meet and greets. Over at Magic Kingdom, Edna began meeting this past weekend as part of the Incredibles summer event taking place at Walt Disney World, and at Disney California Adventure, we'll need to wait a bit longer until June 15th to meet Edna. Now, Disney has released photos of the Edna costume, and honestly, I'm kind of disappointed by it. Overall, I think it's just kind of creepy looking. I don't know, maybe that's what they were going for, but I think it should have been a face character, personally. Even more disappointing is the fact that the costume character stands at average height. I was really hoping that this character would be performed by a little person, considering that the character in the film is so little. Just a few episodes back, I had the same desire for the Ewok meet and greet characters, so come on, Disney. What do you have against hiring little people? I thought you were all for diversity. And now for the coast-to-coast news that excited everyone this past week. More information has been released about the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening dates. Disneyland Park will see the opening of Galaxy's Edge in the summer of 2019, while Disney's Hollywood Studios will see it open in the late fall of 2019. When the Parkland does open at Disney's Hollywood Studios, this will not include the previously announced Star Wars Hotel. That'll come along at a later date. Now keep in mind that late fall potentially brings us to the end of December, since the last day of fall is December 20th. This means that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge could potentially open Christmas week at Walt Disney World during an already extremely busy time at the parks. Merry Christmas, Life Day to all. Now a bit of related rumor news about Disney's park competitor Universal Studios Florida. It's swirling around the rumor mill that to compete with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Universal Studios Florida may be considering a land featuring Star Wars competitor Star Trek. Now, it had been a rumor for a while now that a Star Trek attraction would be taking over the space that previously housed Terminator 2 3D. But now the rumor is that Universal could be building an entirely new theme park featuring the Star Trek franchise. This is far from official, but I just find it very interesting for a few reasons. Number one is that Universal is building new theme parks in Orlando, something that Disney hasn't done at Walt Disney World for over 20 years now. Secondly, if this rumor were true, I find it interesting that Universal would be the first to offer an entire theme park dedicated to one franchise. I personally feel that this is the direction in which theme parks are heading. Obviously, Universal had an enormous hit with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So much so that they probably realized that Harry Potter should have had its own theme park. I personally feel like Disney should have taken that note when it comes to Star Wars. It's definitely a risk building an entire theme park based on one franchise. Believe it or not, there are people out there that just don't like Star Wars that just may not enter a theme park entirely themed to Star Wars. But if you're going to take a chance building a theme park around one franchise, I don't think there's any safer bet than Star Wars due to its mass appeal. It's a risk that I wish Disney was taking first, but if the rumors end up being true, we may just see Universal Studios beat Disney to the punch by building an entire theme park dedicated to Star Trek, Fantastic Beasts, Lord of the Rings, Nintendo, or who knows what. I wholeheartedly believe that you don't need to be a fan of a franchise to enjoy a theme park dedicated to it. Obviously, it helps to be a fan, but it's not necessary for a joyous day in a park. So who will take this massive leap first and potentially change the theme park industry? As you probably know already, Solo, a Star Wars story, recently hit theaters, and people are just loving Donald Glover's performance as Lando Calrissian. Now, Kathleen Kennedy recently said in an interview, quote, "We think that the next spin-off will be dedicated to Lando Calrissian. Of course, there are still many stories to tell about Han and Chewbacca, but Lando will be next," end quote. Now, this doesn't surprise me at all, since it seems like anything that Donald Glover touches these days turns into gold. And now for some Marvel news. It has been announced that Australia's Etihad Stadium, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, will be renamed the Marvel Stadium. Yep, that's right. You'll now be able to shop in a Marvel store at a sports stadium in Australia. I've always found the naming of sports arenas to be very interesting. I've never thought to myself, gee, I'm gonna go buy some Gillette razors because the Patriots play at Gillette Stadium. Now, not being a sports fan, obviously I would never make that a statement in real life, but I do find it interesting that companies spend millions of dollars to name a stadium after themselves. I just don't see how that relates to dollar signs for the company, but it must somehow, otherwise these companies would have stopped investing millions long ago, and would have appropriately named stadiums like Patriots Stadium, or feel free to insert whatever team you like in there. Heading over to some TV news, Descendants 3 has added Broadway veteran Cheyenne Jackson to play the role of Hades. Yes, Hades from the Hercules Disney film. If you're not familiar with Descendants, it's a Disney Channel original movie franchise about the children of Disney villains. The kids' parental figures will often appear in the series, and this time we're meeting Hades. Disney fans may also know Cheyenne Jackson from the ABC show Once Upon a Time. Speaking of the Disney Channel show Elena of Avalor was honored with the Media Trailblazer Award during A Place Called Home's 14th annual Girl Power Luncheon. The nonprofit organization's Girl Power Award celebrates strong, courageous women who are positive role models in their professional and social accomplishments, and to inspire young girls to develop their potential and direct their lives into a positive path. Now, this is the first time that an animated series and the team behind it have been selected to accept this award, so congratulations are in order to the team behind Elena of Avalor. And now for an announcement that I'm particularly excited about. On Sunday, July 29th, Midsummer's Scream will be presenting We Put a Spell on You, celebrating 25 years of Hocus Pocus. On the panel will be David Kirshner, the creator and producer of Hocus Pocus, as well as screenwriter Mick Garris, with more guests to be announced later. The panel will be moderated by, well, me. That's right, I am very excited to be producing and moderating this panel for this Halloween convention. I hope you decide to join us in Long Beach, California on Sunday, July 29th for We Put a Spell on You, celebrating 25 years of Hocus Pocus. Tickets can be purchased now at midsummerscream.org. And before we get going, I gotta get to this week's Twitter poll. This week's Twitter poll is very simple. Which is your favorite? Toy Story, Toy Story 2, or Toy Story 3? Now, for the first time, we actually have a tie here. Both Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 received 28% of the votes, and Toy Story wins with a 44% vote. This is certainly a tough vote, but it seems like most of you like the original the best. Now, before we get going, I want to remind all of you about the Daily Disney Decision. Yes, this is a game that we play every single day on our Instagram live account, so make sure you're following DIZNEYCTC over on Instagram to play the Daily Disney Decision every single day. If you're not sure what it's all about, head over to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, click on the DDD tab there, and more info's there for you. Also, I want to remind you that it will be a new month pretty soon, which means a brand new Disney music playlist in the e-note, so make sure you head to DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Click on playlist there and sign up for that. Of course, don't forget to leave those 5-star reviews and ratings over on iTunes and help other Disney fans find the show more easily. This episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. If you'd like to become a DCTC producer or gain other rewards, more information can be found at patreon.com/DCTC or by visiting DisneyCoastToCoast.com and clicking on the Patreon link there. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePaoli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.